What's up? Hello. We are back with some more creepy stuff. So tonight, actually, it is literally 3 a.m. Can you see that? 3 a.m. It is 3 a.m. and I'm about to read you some paranormal stories. Actually, I'm gonna read 2 paranormal stories from my paranormal email, my inbox. It is for subscribers to send me their creepy paranormal stories, experiences, and I sometimes read them on the channel. I haven't done it in a while, so I was like, let me read one. And then my friend Olivia was saying on her Instagram story something about her dad's house or her parents' house being haunted at some point and some shadow figures and shit. And I was like, hey girl, can you like tell me about that? And can I like read it on my channel? So she literally sent it to my email so that I could read it for you guys. And yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm also gonna link her socials below. I think she has, or I'm gonna link her TikTok and her Instagram because I know she's the most active on there. If you want to go follow her, she's just really cool. If you just want to follow her social media, I'm gonna link her yeah, I'm gonna link her stuff, so go follow her, you know, say hey, Sammy sent you, you know. But her story is really creepy, so I'm gonna read hers second, and I'm gonna read another subscriber story first. They're both very creepy, and the first subscriber story I thought was very interesting and coincidental because it's about La Llorona, and I am going to be doing a video about her. So if you don't know who La Llorona is, she is the weeping woman. That is what it translates to, and we'll get into her story in another video. But it's very creepy. It's I don't want to say it's Mexican folklore because it's said that she was a real person, but I do know that parents in Mexico have used her story to scare their children into behaving and not going anywhere they're supposed to be going. So if you are a subscriber from Mexico, or if you know the story, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and maybe you could share some of your experiences with La Llorona in the comments below, or you can save it for the video where I actually tell her whole story and like what happens today with her. So also, Bobby proposed a really great idea. Actually, he was designing some stuff the other night. He was just like doodling on his iPad, and he came up with a really good theme for us over here. You know, I'm an iced coffee freak. So he was like, why don't you do coffee and creepy, or creepy and coffee? I think we're gonna do coffee and creepy. So our new thing will be get your iced coffee and let's get creepy. I normally have an iced coffee, but I already drank it and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So I currently just have a regular drink. But yeah, I think that's gonna be our new theme. So let me know what you think. I think it's pretty on point, on brand for me. Coffee and creepy are my 2 favorite things. Okay, let's get into the stories. Millie is snoring away. She, you know, we know this. We know the damn dog is always gonna be snoring in my videos. So, okay, first story. Hi, Sammy. She says her name. I don't know if she wants me to put it in the video, so we're just gonna call her L. There isn't going to be much to this email because just a few things happened, but nothing that needed a bunch of details. So it was around 6 p.m. when I woke up from my nap and I went to the kitchen to make myself a quick snack. Then I suddenly started hearing a woman crying in another room, but it's only my dad and I living together. So I was pretty confused where it was coming from, and the more I moved around the kitchen, the louder it got. After a while, I was very curious to see where it was coming from, but then I remember I heard a story about a crying woman called La Llorona, and I decided to stay where I was because I was scared to leave the kitchen. But after I finished making my snack, I heard the crying stop and I walked out. I kid you not, I saw a black figure of a woman standing in front of me for a second, and I was terrified. So I took my dog Leo out of his playpen and we hid in my room for a few minutes until everything was okay, until 9:35. Leo and I were getting ready to sleep, and then maybe 2 to 3 minutes after I turned my lights off, things kept falling in my room and I heard scratching noises. I thought nothing of it, so the only thoughts that were going through my mind were, maybe that's Leo tossing and turning in his house. And maybe I didn't put my planner on my wall right, or maybe something wasn't balanced right and it fell. So I thought nothing of it and went back to sleep. At 2:55 a.m., Leo starts growling and barking at my door, and he was peeking under my door like he was trying to see who was there. And then after a few minutes, he stopped and walked back into his house and laid down. But I stayed up too scared to go to sleep. Fast forward to 5:20, Leo woke up, and so I took him outside, and he was terrified of what was in the darkness. I thought it might have been a cat that he saw that scared him, but nothing was there. But whatever he saw made him terrified, and he ran away from it. So everything was okay until I started writing this part of my email, because outside of my window, I heard a woman's cry. If you don't know the story of La Llorona, she is, like I said, the weeping woman. And I'll just tell you this. I know I'm gonna make a video on it, but I will tell you this. What they say is the louder you hear her, the further she is away. But if she sounds like she's far away, then she's close. And either way, you don't want to hear her crying. And when I make my video on her, you'll know why, okay? That's really freaking creepy. That literally gave me chill bumps. That's terrifying. I don't know what I would do in that situation. Yep, nope. I'm all for the creepy, spooky, paranormal, but that is a bit much, especially you just experiencing that alone with your dog. Oh my God. Okay, now for my friend Olivia's story. She says, I have a ton of experiences, but I'm gonna share some of the most significant ones. My dad bought his house back in 2000. I was 8 at the time, and from the jump, we would see black shadow figures either standing or walking by. There was also heavy orb activity in the kitchen at night. My parents are deaf, but as kids would hear footsteps and noises often. When we first moved into the home, I had the room at the beginning of the hallway. I had knowledge that the former owner passed away in the room, but he was a preacher, so I wasn't too worried about it. But then I could never sleep in that room. I would wake up and sweat, terrified for no reason. That continued for years. Then one night, when I was around 14 or 15 years old, 2 of my friends were staying the night with me. I was facing towards the window when I was laying down, and I saw an orb hanging out of the top of my curtain rod, and then it shot down to our feet. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to scare them, but one of them said, "Did y'all see that?" And I was like, "Yep." Immediately after that, the blanket ripped off of us. We screamed and ran out into the living room and jumped on my dad. We were so shaken. I believe I was in tears. As time went on, I got older, and when my brother moved out, I took his old room. I was able to sleep a lot better, but I would constantly hear breathing in my ear at night. I've experienced so much sleep paralysis as well. One time, I remember laying in my bed, and the only thing I could move was my head because the sleep paralysis was so heavy on my body. I looked over at my alarm clock, you know, the old school ones with the red numbers so that you can see it at night, and it said 6:20. Then I slowly looked over to my left and saw a hooded figure in the corner of my room. After that, the weight lifted and I immediately shot up from my bed. I looked at my clock and it said 6:20. That was probably hands down the creepiest night of my life. My next significant story is one night I heard something out in the hallway, so I opened my door and my stepbrother opened his door. He was now in my old room at the beginning of the hallway. I said, "Did you hear that?" And he said, "Yes, I did." So we were looking out into the living room, which was pitch black. The only thing you could see was the light from the Wii console, and something walked in front of it. So I ran to the dining room and turned the light on. There was nothing there. We waited around for a bit, and then I said, "It's not gonna show itself. Let's go back to bed." Right after I said that, something hit the wall where my dad's big dry erase board calendar was hung up. It made the board fall, and all the markers flew off of it at the same time. Then it was quiet for the rest of the night. The last story I'm gonna tell you is about a visitor that came to me in my sleep. I had a dream, well, a nightmare, about a very insanely tall man with black eyes peeking at me through my doorway. It was very quick, but it was such a weird feeling. I woke up right after and did my morning routine, then sat on the couch. As soon as I sat down, my stepbrother woke up and was like, I just had a crazy nightmare about a tall man with black eyes staring at me in my doorway. My stomach dropped to the floor, and I told him I had the same dream. Growing up in that house was a wild experience, to say the least. I could go on and on because I spent my childhood and teenage years there, but these are the ones that stuck with me. My dad still lives there, but he says the activity isn't rampant anymore. I'm not sure what triggered it or why it was centered on us, but that's my story. Okay, I literally had chills the whole time I was reading that. That is so terrifying. Oh my God. And the fact that her dad still lives there is wild. That's terrifying. And it's so funny that she says it was a preacher that had, you know, in the house. That still, this activity sounds demonic to me. So this is why I'm like, okay, preacher doesn't necessarily always mean godly or, you know, safe, because what she is experiencing is, or what she experienced definitely sounds demonic to me. That's not a ghost. That's 100% not a ghost. That kind of, actually, hooded figures, shadow people are usually right off the bat an indicator of negative demonic energy. And I can do a whole video on shadow. I think I have done a video on shadow people, or maybe I just did the Hat Man. I can't remember, but if I haven't, I'll do a video on shadow people and like explain. But yeah, all of that activity making her that terrified and knocking shit down and coming to her and giving her sleep paralysis, that is all demonic activity, and that is wild. I'm so happy that you don't live there anymore, Olivia, but I am so sorry that you still have to go there because your dad still lives there. But at least he says that it's not as active, or maybe it's because he's not as scared as you and it was feeding off of your fear and your family's or your brother's fear. That's a thing. They feed off of fear. So the people in the house, which the children would be the most scared of them, it makes sense that y'all would be the ones that would have the experiences. So that is scary. We need to bless that house. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed these two stories, and I am excited to film more content for this channel. I have 2 other videos planned, one being the story of La Llorona, and another, a Japanese legend that I'm really excited to talk about. It's really freaking creepy. I'm really excited for all of the creepy content. So yeah, if you enjoy my content, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to stay creepy. Bye.